Hello everyone and welcome to the EVN Disrupt podcast. My name is Adrine. I'm the editor of the Creative Tech section here at EVN Report. Our guest today is Adrine Naslyan, the General Manager of QaylTech. She joins us to discuss how her company enables remote rehabilitation using virtual reality. We spoke about how QaylTech's idea emerged after the April 2016 war and how their products have helped wounded soldiers and other people with disabilities in continuing their rehabilitation. Thank you for listening. Adrine, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Let's start with hearing a little bit about the story of the founding of QaylTech. Tell us how the company and the idea started.
Yes, QaylTech is founded by Mr. Arsenian, David Arsenian. He was a physiotherapist in NGO for wounded soldiers. While working with soldiers, Mr. Arsenian thought that this kind of people with disabilities, need such kind of devices that now we are producing. And after war 2016, or 4 days war, Mr. Arsenian was in hospitals and working with all these soldiers. He got the idea to create a company like QaylTech.
So I was actually under the impression this started after the 2020 war, but this goes way back to 2016, I guess.
Yes.
So tell us about the first iterations of the product after 2016 when David started working with wounded soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
What did that product look like, and what did it do for is patients the right word, or the people that they were trying to help?
By the way, me and David Arsenian were working together in NGO for wounded soldiers, and I was responsible for the educational department, and Mr. Arsenian was physiotherapist, we thought that creating some devices that are not available in Armenia, that are not so much cheap for this kind of person, will be much better. And Mr. Arsenian created some prototypes of the products. At this moment, QaylTech has more than 10 products, and one of the first was exoskeleton, and we call QaylLaber.
Mm-hmm.
One of our main products is MetaGait. This is an innovation device. For innovation device, it is patented in Armenia, and we are going to patent in other countries, in mainly all countries of the world.
Mm-hmm.
At this moment, we are working with India, Russia, Georgia, Ukraine, such kind of countries, and we are going to have patent. Starting from this year, 2023, we started to work with Armenian government, so we are selling our products with Armenian government. We are very thankful, and I guess all people with disabilities are very thankful to Armenian government, because such kind of products like QaylLaber is not so available for other countries, and having connections in other countries, they get surprised that even in European countries, such kind of devices are not available for people with disabilities. Mm-hmm. But in Armenia, it's being given with government program.
Tell us exactly what the products are, what they are, and how they're used.
Our products are being used for doing remote rehabilitation mainly. These products are created for those missions. So in Armenia, we have many rehabilitation centers, but all the time when people get rehabilitation process, after that go home, and their muscles get the same stage as they were before the rehabilitation. So having this kind of devices at home, it keeps their muscles in form.
So after they're sent home from physiotherapy or the rehabilitation process, because it's harder to keep up with the exercises and the general care that it takes to recover from an event like that, they can lose all the progress they made during rehab.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for assisting. Yes, they can lose the progress, and after this program with government, we have good results. Children with palsy and wounded soldiers, they cannot have progress when they get rehabilitation only in rehabilitation centers.
Right. It needs to be continued.
Yes,
continuous.
this is a process that must be continued, both in hospitals and in house,
Right.
to keep muscles informed, to keep progress ongoing.
Right. And how exactly is the device used? What do they do on the MetaGait device? I know there's a VR component, and just tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. The first stage was QaylTech, that is now being sold with government product, and the upgraded product is MetaGait. We attached their VR device, and my IT team, our IT team, is creating some environments interesting for this kind of people. For example, MetaGait, we have MetaGait for children and MetaGait for adults, because VR device is prohibited for children under 14 years. So we are creating with tablet, MetaGait with tablet, and we are creating some kind of environments for children and for adults. At this moment, my team is working for a football environment. I guess it will be very, very funny, and it will entertain. The magic of the product is that person can train himself and be very, very motivated, because in VR world, some kind of interesting game is going on.
And for people who might not have seen the product, it's kind of like a circular pad that you stand on with handles. The handles move kind of like an ellipticals, what I remember seeing. And is the pad, I think, is it almost like a treadmill where you can move and run on it, or?
Yes, it's a device like when using this kind of device, you are shaking your hands, your legs, you are keeping almost all your muscles in mood. You are doing physiotherapy, and at the same time you are entertaining yourself
because of the VR environment.
Yes, this device is also, this year we created application, so the doctor can see via application whether his patient is trained or not, or it's already 10 days he's not trained. So that is why we tell that this is a remote rehabilitation good device. And doctors are very thankful to Mr. Arsenian for creating this device. And also patients can play with each other. This year we had first cybersport competition in Armenia, or maybe in world, and our 6 wounded soldiers from starting from 2016 war and 2020 war, soldiers competed with each other in metaverse, and
fantastic.
One of them won, got the prize. So they can organize competitions, they can treat themselves, they can get healthy day by day. And I guess when we create more interesting environments like football or something else, they cannot play with the device no day. Right.
They'll constantly want to.
Yes, and everything is being written in application, and doctor can control everything.
Is QaylTech also involved in the development of the games that are being used on the platform?
Games are being created by our team. We are doing our best to develop both teams, develop our team skills, and develop more and more interesting games for patients. We are collecting, by the way, I'm also the project manager of the team, and I'm doing my best to collect feedbacks from our patients, and collecting all feedbacks. This year, our patients told that most interesting will be football. It is very huge program, but I guess we will do during this year.
Right. And I'm curious, is because I imagine there are probably VR football games already. Is the reason why you guys are developing it in-house because there's some sort of physiotherapy component in the game that's that you guys have built in? Like, does the game need to be designed and set up in a way so that it is most useful for the rehabilitation process?
If you know our IT head, he knows everything. He's IT specialist, but he nearly knows everything about this kind of patients. For example, patients with spinal injury, he knows everything, and he knows that at what time he can harm in game, because VR is something like you must be very careful with in VR, and he knows everything, that what turn can be not good for him and what can be good for him, and everything is being consulted with our doctors, rehabilitators. Starting from this year, we are going to do clinical research also, because Armenian rehabilitators, for example, rehabilitator in Kosh Rehabilitation Center, Arabgir, wounded soldiers rehabilitator, says that we see the progress day by day, especially with spinal cord injuries. And that is why they say we see, but we don't have any criteria, we don't have any researches. That is why we decided to do clinical research. And our IT specialist knows everything, and everything is being consulted with physiotherapist and rehabilitator.
Right. So there's multiple stakeholders sort of in the loop of the development process, which I guess for something this multidisciplinary is extremely important.
For example, he knows that what kind of steps must be in VR.
Right.
He can run or not, because the person who is sitting on the wheelchair for 10 years, start and run maybe will be harmful for him. Right. That is why everything is being synchronized. Everything is being consulted, every detail. That is why the product is like not so much easy. You must know everything from the sphere, because first you have job with not simple people with some injuries, people who is sitting on wheelchair for years, and people with maybe has problems with mental health.
Right. Yeah. I imagine compliance is you have to make the barrier to entry extremely low. You have to make person not feel like it's a chore, like it's a job to do it, right? In terms of the clinical studies that you guys are looking to do, what exactly are the parameters you're looking for? Like, what is it that you're trying to measure?
We are going to answer the question whether our device MetaGait helps the people, whether it is good device for remote rehabilitation, whether it is like assistive for rehabilitator, because people with disabilities, this kind of injuries, must have rehabilitation process yearly, but also must have this kind of devices at home, and the progress will be obvious.
Is it just from getting feedback? I guess, is it like movement or something?
Yes, we have patients that, for example, they come to QaylTech and says, I cannot move my legs. I cannot feel anything under my this part.
Chest.
And I cannot use this device. But when Mr. Arsenyan insists, says, no, wear the VR glasses and try to treat yourself. VR environment is so interesting for her, and the feeling is so good for her, because she can see how she moves in the environment, and it's she feels happy.
Right.
We had such kind of patient, and she tried to move herself, and she moved her legs, and she says, oh my God, I can move my leg. I didn't know that. That is, I guess, the magic of our device, the magic of neuro rehabilitation, and the connection between your legs and your brain.
Right.
That must be the agenda, the subject of the study.
Does the device also help with like neural feedback, in the sense of the nervous system can actually relearn how to do certain movements?
Yes, Mr. Arsenyan, before creating this device, did some researches and understood, and also has obvious patients that while person can think that he's moving his leg, he already can do that. And VR helps him in that thought.
Tell us about the average patient profile of someone who comes to QaylTech. What type of disabilities do they have?
Mainly we have patients with spinal cord injury, with children with palsy. This is the majority part of, and also all patients who are on wheelchair can be our patients. Because with government program, we are selling four products. Device for wheelchair. So every person whose rehabilitator gives advice to use our device, every person who is using wheelchair can be our patient, and every person who needs treatment or remote rehabilitation can be our patient. But in any way we sell our products, it doesn't matter with government program or not, we sell our product only when patient can express rehabilitator's advice. For example, when somebody comes QaylTech and says, please give me a remote rehabilitation device, your QaylAbert, for example, I cannot sell because I want a rehabilitator's advice.
Who are you selling to? Are you selling to like physiotherapy centers, doctors?
All Armenian centers. Maybe I can be mistaken in some cases there are not, but in almost every Armenian rehabilitation centers there are our products. And we sell all patients. Starting this year when we started to sell products with government program, products are being sold much more because for device pays the government.
So the government decided to buy it for a network of hospitals and rehabilitation centers?
Not for hospitals, but for patients. For hospitals we gave, or hospital got, or for charity with charity programs we got. With the help of charity programs, we got these devices. For example, this month, I will transfer one of our MetaGaits to Gyumri Rehabilitation Center with charity program. And every rehabilitation center has this kind of devices, but we are selling to patients. Government pays for that patients.
Right. And is the government primarily paying for these to be delivered to wounded soldiers, or for
everybody whose rehabilitator
approved it?
Approves, yes. For children with palsy, for everybody who needs this kind of device, because government understood and I can say approved. We approved that using this kind of device at home can be very helpful for government, because the person who is sitting on wheelchair for 10 years can have more than 30 illnesses, 30 problems with health. And in this case, government will pay more and more.
Right.
But having this kind of device at home, for example, the children with palsy can treat himself, stay in stand position, and not have such kind of illness, such kind of problems with health. And government will not pay much more for hospitals, but he can pay for this device, keep his patient in healthy mood, treat mood, and also not have problems with his patients.
Right. It alleviates the financial burden of increased healthcare costs that the government has to cover later on in their lives by helping them to stay healthier now, is what you're saying.
We did some researches we used by WHO, and we understood that this is much suitable, much comfortable. Also, our Armenian patients, it is our mission. Our Armenian patients will not have problems. For example, 8-year children can treat himself every day and not have problems with health, just keep in healthy mood and be happy. Because while doing clinical researches, rehabilitators mentioned that children who is standing, not every time sitting on the wheelchair, who is in standing mood. He can draw, he can have happy feelings. He's very, very happy that he can play some games with children, staying position, not in sitting.
Yeah.
This is also some kind of happiness with this kind of person.
And the overall emotional well-being of the patient impacts their care as well, right? Like in terms of like compliance and all this. Tell us about selling this product abroad. You mentioned earlier that you guys are speaking with a couple of other countries now to introduce it to their markets. Tell us what countries you're looking at and how that process has gone so far.
As our mission, Mr. Arsenyan's first mission was all Armenian patients have this kind of products. That is why for this year we are selling Armenians, and we are selling with such kind of price. I guess we don't have such income for Armenian market. We are planning, starting from next year, already sell this product abroad. I guess our next big market will be India, United Arab Emirates, Russia, and Ukraine. We thought more about this, and we want not to have borders, because every person with disability can be eligible for this device, and we want every person with disability use this device. International markets are very interesting for us. Starting from today, I am doing some researches for Georgia market, and I saw that in Georgia they not have such kind of device. And we are already starting steps. We signed some contracts in India. There they have MTZ company, which is the biggest in India, and which is created by WHO. In November, our team, QaylTech team, will be in India. We will express our product, and I guess we will go on cooperating, starting from next year. First step, we will have patent in India, and I guess after India, we will have accesses to many other markets.
Because it'll be proven internationally already?
Yes. Yeah. Also, India, we did some researches. India have 23 million people with disabilities. For 10 million can be targeted for our products. It's very, very big market.
Yeah.
Russia is very interested because of the war. Ukraine is very interested. We will work with every country because I will repeat, our mission is to help all over people with disabilities.
Right. And when you're entering a market, for a product like this, do you first need to get government buy-in from that country? Like, is there ministries of health or organizations like WHO need to help you guys be introduced into those markets, or can you start selling directly to hospitals and physiotherapy centers and things like that?
I can start telling my practice in Russia. For example, for entering Russia, first we will have patent in that country, and then we must have some licenses, standardizations we must pass. And yesterday I was informed from my specialist responsible for international relations that we already passed the process of collecting all documentation, and now we start the process in Russia to sell the product with government program, as they need our product very much. And I guess starting from 2024 we will start selling Russia, but already some devices we already sent to Russia and sold. But not with government program, just rehabilitation centers bought from us.
I see. And in terms of internationally, how adopted is virtual reality and these kinds of solutions for aiding in rehab? Is it becoming an accepted standard of care?
Some attempts we noticed in some countries, but for our area, I guess we are the first. investigating so much more in this fair, and while investigating, the information is so little. That is why it's big difficult for us. But anyway, we will do clinical research. We will have good environments, and I guess in future it will be very, very acceptable, because it helps very much the person. Maybe I repeat, but sometimes person cannot understand that they can move their legs or their hands. They say, oh, I cannot, and that's all.
Yeah.
But in VR sphere, when it's already another world, another environment, they can move, and it's very surprising for doctor and for her.
Right. It's amazing how much of what is perceived to be like physiological or physical is really also psychological. Like the psychological belief, I guess, or of being shown that you can move a limb or a part of your body can help you get back to the point where you can actually move it without the aid of something like VR. Last question. Where do you hope to see QaylTech in 5 years?
I guess QaylTech will be a very big company, and remote rehabilitation will become acceptable and one of the main ways of rehabilitation, because day by day, this kind of people, some becomes more, and all rehabilitators cannot treat every time, every day. And this is one of the main ways to be healthy, to keep healthy your patients. QaylTech will be big company and will have branches in many countries.
We wish you a lot of luck with that. The work you guys are doing is extremely important, and I hope you'll come back on again in the future and tell us about how it goes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adrine.